when the the economic community was established. At first, it sounds to me personally, it sounds like a good opportunity. So maybe we can go abroad in other Asian countries and we find opportunities there, jobs there.
Yeah.
But then again, when I reflect on the let's say the quality of life, it's like it's also can be quite a risky move. I mean, like the only, in my opinion, the only really strong nation in the ASEAN is Singapore, and obviously, I think every other nations will try to find the opportunity there, and with the economy of ASEAN, that although, like you said, it's getting better for Indonesia especially, and I personally think maybe Singapore cannot like hold all the others all by themselves. Like, in your opinion, is that a good thing?
No, I first bring up the fact that Indonesia is the largest economy. Indonesia is 1/3 to a half of the Southeast Asian economies. So first of all, it's the largest economy in Southeast Asia. So it has had those achievements and everything. I feel that with the Asian Economic Community, the way that it's structured, there are opportunities for Indonesia to take on board. And obviously, Indonesia has a large demographic population. Indonesia has a commodities base that they can use in terms of that. Indonesia has a democratic governance system. You know, Singapore, I think we're all well aware that Singapore has its certain talents with, you know, financial services, with some of the IT things, but I think there's definitely room. The whole economy of the Asian countries is roughly about $2 to $2.5 trillion. And I think there's room for everybody, and perhaps there's even room for everybody to increase the volume of the Asian trade. And you look at some of the trade volumes that have been occurring with China in terms of the Asian countries. And there's an opportunity for everybody working together to increase trade to, let's say, $4 or $5 trillion in the future with the Asian community. So I don't necessarily, I agree that there's some countries that seem to have an advantage, but Indonesia has tremendous assets like that they can use, and I think they'll be utilized. Obviously, ASEAN creates a level playing field, which is very important for partners to have. And ASEAN has trade agreements and trade accords that people are working on. So I think that if ASEAN plays a role of facilitating trade agreements and creating the level playing field, there's plenty of room for everybody, including all of the 600 million people in ASEAN, to have a better quality of life in the future.
So actually, there are a lot of entrepreneurs from abroad now wants to start their own businesses here in Indonesia, and also a lot of young entrepreneurs who are about to start their own enterprises here. In your opinion, is our country stable?
Oh, I don't have any problem with that. The government has issued under the president, there's been 13 economic policy reforms. And I think the other thing that all of us need to look at is the tax amnesty in the way that is going and being positive and hopefully shaping and creating more investment in the future in terms of Indonesia. The other thing that's very important, you mentioned the word stability. I think all of us can congratulate Indonesia on an extraordinary election in 2014. That election was a big milestone in Indonesian democracy. So I think all the fixtures, all the tenets, all the apparatus associated with a democracy are there, and Indonesia moves ahead in one of the world's biggest democracies. So I think the business climate, working on laws and regulations, refining the tax codes, helping to develop a stronger, robust investment policy that is favorable towards foreign direct investment, and working with that tax amnesty, I think it would create a good environment for Indonesia in terms of the future that's stable, and businesses would be attracted to come here to invest for the future. After all, the investment is very important in Indonesia. I think you're well aware that Indonesia has to create 2 to 3 million jobs per year. And there's also a challenge of the need to create jobs in the formal sector, so that in the formal sector people have a pension, they have the health insurance, they have benefits on that, versus jobs that are created in the informal sector, which don't have those sort of benefits. But I think that Indonesia will be on a good path for investment and increased foreign direct investment in the future.